What is up? It is so cold outside, and today we are doing the timing belt in the white Civic. Now, fair warning, this is not a how-to because I've never done this before. I'm just going to kind of show you guys the process of me changing it. Keep watching. Alright, so it's 14 degrees outside. I just got the oil burner heating up now. I should probably move this stuff away from it and that taking gas. Okay, but anyway, it's, according to that thermometer, 25 degrees in here right now, and we're gonna see how warm it gets. I should be able to hopefully get it up to like 70 degrees, but we'll see what's going on. But first, what I need to do is jack the car up, take this wheel off, and make sure that I can break the crank bolt loose. Now there's a splash guard under here. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Alright, so it's about an hour later from what you just last saw. I got the bolt undone down there. It was really hard, but we did get it undone. You need a special tool for that. And then it's a nice and toasty 70 degrees in here now, so that's good. What I'm going to do first is take off the accessory belts on the right side of the motor. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that now. As you can see, I got all of the accessory belts off. The air conditioning belt is a little bit of a pain. So what you do is you have to loosen the pulley here, and then there's a bolt right here that loosens the tension on the pulley. You don't have to take the pulley off. I did that to help getting the alternator off. But you slip that belt off, and then you come down here, and there's a motor mount right there that you have to loosen. There's two bolts that go up into both sides of it. You have to take both of those bolts out, and then you come up here and you loosen one of these almost all the way, and then you loosen the other one that drops the motor down just a tiny bit. You don't have to support it with anything. It'll support by those bolts still, and you pull the belt off. So that was a pain, but it still didn't take me too long, maybe 30 minutes or whatever. So I got all three of those belts off. And now I'm going to go ahead and start disassembling all this stuff. I just went inside to eat. I came back out. Actually, it's probably about an hour later. And it's like 85 degrees in here right now, which is crazy. So here's the oil burner over here. You can see it's like glowing red. If I can get to focus, there it is. It's pretty hot. And then there's the oil up there. That's just used car oil. So I've burned half of that bucket so far in the last few hours. So it goes pretty quick, but you do a lot of oil changes and have your friends give you all their oil, and it can last quite a while. Now that I got all this stuff taken apart and I got the upper timing cover off, there are some things that need to happen to get the lower cover off. I need to pull off this bracket completely, remove this dipstick tube, and I can't remember what I was saying. This has to be undone at some point to get the timing belt off, but not yet. Oh, one more thing that I want to do is there's a little up arrow right here, which needs to be pointing up, as well as there is a timing mark down here on the cover. Down there, once again, this isn't really how to, but there's a timing mark on the pulley that needs to be lined up while this is pointed up. And then that's top dead center. That's where we want to leave the motor. So I have to come down here and turn this crank pulley down here, which I have to tighten that bolt back up to do because it's loose right now. But I'm going to go ahead and put the motor at top dead center. The motor is at top dead center and top dead center in the first cylinder, and now we can start pulling the rest of the stuff off. Alright, so after all 6 lower bolts came out of the lower timing cover, I have it off completely. And unfortunately, this is going to be it for me today, and I will pick back up on this tomorrow. Alright, here we are. It's actually like 4 days later because it was in the negatives for the past few days and way too cold to even come out here. I think it was like -9 a couple days ago. What I've done so far today is just taken the camshaft sensor off and moved it to the side. Now I'm going to mark the timing belt just so I can transfer those marks over to the new timing belt. You don't have to do that. It's just going to give me peace of mind to know that the new one is on exactly the same as the old one. Just something to double check it with. But what I'm going to do is mark that. Then I'm going to undo this mount right here, support the engine underneath, and take the timing belt off. Alright, so now that the timing belt's off and marked, what I'm going to do is replace the cam seal and the crank seal. I don't think the cam seal is leaking, but I think the crank seal is. But I'm going to replace them both. I'm not really going to show that. So, well, I'll show the cam seal, but I'm not going to show the crank seal. So I'm going to skip over that really quick. Alright, so jumping ahead a little bit, I was trying to put the wrong seal in here. So I have the right one in here now, and I put this cam gear back on, and I put the sprocket back on the crank down there after putting that seal in. I temporarily bolted this back together. I gotta undo it to put the timing belt on. But I just wanted this together while I did the tensioner and the water pump. So I pulled the tensioner off, and I loosened the water pump and knocked it free and drained all the coolant, which kind of made a little bit of a mess. I wiped up most of it, and I got most of it in there. But that's all drained. Now, I'm going to put the new water pump in and the new tensioner on, and then I'm going to undo this and put the new timing belt on. Alright, you can see the new timing belt's on. It's not tightened yet, but everything's on. I got the new tensioner down there. I got the new water pump right in there. And you can see the 2 timing marks I made right here on the cam gear are correct. If you look right here, you can see the timing mark on the back is lined up. If you come down here, There are 2 marks on the belt that I put right there, right where it meets the gear. Those are correct. And you can't really see it. You can see it when the car was lowered, but there is a little arrow, and top dead center is lined up on here. So we're all good to start reassembling everything, but it's really late. It's like 11 o'clock, so I'm gonna call it a night and pick back up on this tomorrow or the next day. All right, it's the 3rd day. I fixed my camera tripod, and now I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back together. Alright, so everything is back together now. I think I put everything back together correctly. I'm really hoping I'm not forgetting something. I'm gonna start the car. I'm not 100% confident, I'm gonna be honest. I'm hoping for no weird noises or, I mean, really just anything catastrophic. I guess if like the timing belt cover is rubbing or something, I can just take everything back apart. Didn't take me too long to put it back together. We're gonna give it a shot. Fingers crossed. Sounds good. It might start dying because it normally does if I don't start it in a few days. No weird noises. Purring like a kitten. Sorry, I'm a nerd. But dope. Okay, cool. I need to bleed the cooling system. I just wanted to make sure it was gonna run all right. Good enough for me. Well, it's been a long few days, but I got everything done. I'm pretty happy about it. So next, we're gonna go ahead and start the turbo build, which I'm not sure if I told you guys about, but it's just gonna be like a budget eBay turbo build, but I'm gonna do, next video is gonna be me actually showing how to chip an ECU, because I didn't show it last time. I just kind of did it. But after that, we just need to do the OBD1 conversion, fuel pump and injectors, wideband, and then I need to get a turbo kit. If you have any recommendations for the eBay turbo kit to get, and yes, it is going to be an eBay turbo kit. If the motor blows up, I'll put a new one in it. But any recommendations, throw them in the comments. But yeah, we're all good. Thank you guys for liking and subscribing, and see you in the next video. Peace out.